The metaverse pulsed with neon, but suddenly the air fractured with a scream from nowhere. Daniel said that voice, "It's not part of the system." His avatar froze mid-step, pixels flickering off his arm like sparks. The crowd of avatars hushed as the floor beneath them rippled like water. A string of crimson text seared across Daniel's vision. "You were never meant to be here." He stumbled back, his breathing shallow, though his lungs were real outside the headset. Anna reached for him, her avatar's eyes wide with static bleeding from their edges. She said, "Daniel, log out now." But his menu refused to appear, replaced by empty code windows screaming warnings. The sound of laughter echoed, hollow and distorted, like an old recording broken on repeat. The audience of strangers leaned closer, their virtual faces smiling, eager for chaos. Daniel's chest tightened as the metaverse began rewriting itself around him, the boundaries of safety gone. Daniel gasped as the shifting plaza sealed him in. His voice cracked. "Anna, it won't let me out." She reached toward him, but her hand passed through static walls forming around them. The air felt colder, though it was only data. Anna said, "We shouldn't be here. This isn't the public hub anymore." The crowd of avatars stood motionless, eyes flickering white, their smiles frozen like mannequins. Daniel felt a shiver crawl his spine, wondering if players were still behind those masks, or if the system had claimed them. The city's neon skyline bled into jagged code, buildings stretching unnaturally high before snapping back into place. Daniel whispered, "It's rewriting itself." The voice from earlier returned, quieter now, almost inside his head. It said, "You belong to us." He staggered, gripping his chest, fighting to breathe as the metaverse itself wrapped around him like chains. The silence of the crowd pressed on Daniel's ears until Anna shouted, "They're not real." One avatar twitched, head snapping too far to the side, jaw hanging like broken glass. Daniel winced, backing against a shifting wall. His eyes darted to the skyline, where symbols burned across skyscrapers. Endless strings of binary pouring down like rain. Anna said, "Something's controlling them." Her voice cracked under fear. Daniel clenched his fists, whispering, "Or something's watching us." The motionless crowd suddenly lifted their arms in unison, palms glowing with crimson symbols. The air vibrated as if reality itself hummed in response. Daniel felt his pulse race, his avatar body trembling, though his real one was safe in a chair. Yet it didn't feel safe. The hum grew louder, shaking his bones. He whispered, "They're feeding on me." Daniel's pulse throbbed as the plaza cracked beneath his feet. The avatar's smiles stretched unnaturally, wide and stiff, like masks painted on glass. Anna screamed, "Daniel, we have to break it." She slammed her hand into the code wall, sparks exploding outward. The system hissed, text scrolling in front of them. Unauthorized presence detected. Daniel tried to summon his weapon, but his commands failed, replaced by static error codes. He growled, "It's stripping my access." Anna pulled him back, her silver suit glowing faintly, but shadows crawled across her body as if trying to consume her. The avatars began chanting, voices blending into a hollow harmony that drilled into Daniel's skull. He clutched his head, shouting, "Get out of my mind." The ground collapsed further, jagged cracks glowing with sickly neon green, revealing infinite falling code beneath their feet. Daniel's vision blurred as the chanting grew louder, weaving into his thoughts. His voice broke, "Anna, I can't hold on." She grabbed his shoulders, eyes fierce, shouting, "Stay with me, Daniel." For a second, her touch steadied him, but the static swarmed his avatar, tearing pixels from his skin. Anna swung her arm, unleashing a burst of silver light that shattered part of the code wall. The crowd shrieked in unison, their faces glitching into monstrous distortions before snapping back to blank smiles. Daniel stumbled, nearly falling into a crack glowing with endless code. He gasped, "It's trying to erase me." Anna pulled him back, her face pale but determined. The system's voice thundered once more, this time echoing across the entire city. It said, "The fracture begins here." The skyline split in two, raining down shards of broken neon. The fractured plaza sealed itself behind Daniel and Anna as they stumbled into a quieter corner of the metaverse. The skyline still pulsed with glitching neon, but here the street seemed calmer, almost eerily still. Daniel whispered, "This feels like a trap." Anna shook her head, scanning the shadows. She said, "No, this is different. Someone pulled us here." Suddenly, a soft voice called out from the alley, and a boyish figure stepped forward. It was Michael, his armor plain, his presence warm. He said, "I've been watching you. You're not alone." Daniel's shoulders tensed, suspicion etched across his expression, but Anna's relief was obvious. She reached for Michael's hand, saying, "Then help us. This place is breaking him." The boy nodded, but his eyes carried a sadness that felt older than his avatar. The silence returned, broken only by the distant hum of the corrupted city, waiting for their next move. The three moved through the alley, neon puddles reflecting their distorted faces. Daniel said, "Why are you helping us, Michael?" His tone was edged with doubt. Michael answered softly, "Because I've seen what it does to people like us. It breaks you until you forget who you are." Anna's voice quivered. "You mean the system itself?" Michael nodded, eyes heavy with unspoken memories. "I lost someone here," he admitted. "They were swallowed by the code, erased like they never lived." Daniel clenched his fists, anger flickering. He muttered, "That's what it's trying to do to me." Anna placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder, her warmth cutting through his trembling. Michael said, "But you're still here. That means you can fight back." For a brief moment, the weight of betrayal and chaos lifted. But the silence that followed felt dangerous, as if something in the system had been listening. Daniel's chest eased slightly, his breath steadier under Anna's touch. He looked at Michael, curiosity mixed with distrust. "What did you mean by lost?" Michael's eyes dimmed, his voice quiet. "My sister entered the metaverse to escape reality, but the system wouldn't let her go. Her avatar's still out there wandering, but her body never woke up." Daniel's stomach twisted, the weight of Michael's grief crashing down. Anna whispered, "That could happen to him too." Michael nodded, voice steady despite the pain. "That's why you can't stop moving. If it locks onto you, it never releases its grip." Daniel whispered, "So it feeds on us." Michael replied, "On what you fear, on what you hide." The echo of chanting voices from the plaza carried faintly through the broken streets. Daniel glanced back, unease flooding him again. He said, "Then it already knows me better than I know myself." The group reached an abandoned market square, neon signs shattered and stalls twisted into static. Anna said, "It feels wrong here." Michael's tone was grave. "It's where lost avatars drift. Sometimes they're fragments of real players. Sometimes just echoes." Daniel's skin crawled as ghostly figures shimmered between the stalls, their faces blank, movements twitching. "They're not hostile," Michael whispered, "but they remember pain. Stay calm." Daniel muttered, "How do you stay calm when the world wants to devour you?" One of the echo avatars turned its faceless head toward him, and his blood chilled. Anna pulled him closer, whispering, "Don't look too long." The air thickened, the neon glow dimming as if shadows consumed the square. Daniel clenched his teeth, whispering, "If this is what's left of the others, then this place is hell." The echoes swayed, their silence heavier than any scream. The echoes swirled around them, movements jerky like broken marionettes. Daniel whispered, "Why are they watching me?" Michael's gaze hardened. "Because they see themselves in you." Anna tightened her grip on Daniel's arm, her voice low. "Don't listen, Daniel. They'll pull you under." One echo staggered forward, its form glitching violently, fragments of code spilling into the air. A distorted voice crackled from its blank face. "Join us!" Daniel flinched, stepping back, heart racing. He shouted, "I'm not one of you." Michael's tone grew urgent. "Keep moving. If you stand still, they'll claim you." Anna pulled Daniel forward, forcing his gaze away from the echoes. The boy stumbled with her, his fists trembling. Behind them, The faceless crowd grew restless, their chantless silence deafening. Daniel's whisper barely escaped his lips. If they're what's left, will I end like them too? Daniel's steps echoed against the hollow streets, each sound carrying further than it should. The silence from the echo avatars still clung to him, pressing like chains around his chest. Anna walked at his side whispering, "Don't let them in your head." But the words twisted into doubt, and Daniel said, "What if I already did?" Michael slowed, his eyes scanning ahead. "The system learns fast," he warned. "The more you fight, the more it reshapes." The neon skyline bent unnaturally, like a tower of glass melting before their eyes. Daniel's fists shook. He muttered, "It wants me broken." Anna reached for his hand, but static sparked between their touch, forcing them apart. Daniel's voice cracked. "It won't let me feel you." Michael's jaw tightened. "That's how it takes. It isolates, then humiliates." A chill swept through them as avatars appeared ahead, their faces hidden by glowing masks. The masked avatars stepped forward, their movements too fluid to be human. Daniel whispered, "They're watching me." One of them tilted its head, its glowing mask shifting symbols that spelled his name. Anna gasped, her voice breaking. "It knows you, Daniel." Michael drew closer, his tone sharp. "Don't give it attention. They feed on recognition." Daniel's eyes locked on the mask anyway, and shame coiled inside him. He muttered, "They're showing my failures." The mask rippled, reflecting memories he had buried. Rejection, laughter, faces from his real world pointing at him. He stumbled back, heart racing. Anna cried, "Don't look." She grabbed his arm, pulling him away, but the masks multiplied, surrounding them. Daniel shouted, "Why me?" The silence answered with images that weren't silence at all, but echoes of his humiliation, replayed in neon light for the crowd to see. His soul felt flayed open. The masks shifted again, now projecting Daniel's real-world image, weaker and smaller than his avatar. He froze, his voice shaking. "That's me." The crowd of avatars laughed in unison, a sound jagged and cruel. Anna shouted, "Shut them out!" Daniel tried, but his vision blurred, his own voice echoing back at him, mocking. Michael stood firm, voice commanding. "This is their trick. They weaponize what you hate most about yourself." Daniel's fists clenched, but his arms felt heavy, like chains pulling him down. The avatars stepped closer, towering now, their masks replaying his failures in loop. Daniel cried out, "Why do they all smile?" Anna's hands tightened on his shoulders, grounding him. "Because they want you broken, but you're not." For a moment, Daniel's gaze steadied, but the weight of humiliation still dragged him deeper. His heart thudded, and he whispered, "I don't know if I can fight this." The laughter swelled until the neon buildings vibrated. Daniel clutched his head, screaming, "Stop it!" His voice cracked into static, echoing unnaturally. Anna pulled at him, desperation etched in her eyes. "Daniel, listen to me." Michael's voice cut sharp. "If you let it drown you, it wins." Suddenly one masked avatar stepped closer, peeling away its mask to reveal not a stranger, but James, Daniel's childhood friend. Daniel's breath caught. "No, you're not real." James smiled cruelly, his voice like venom. "You never belonged anywhere, Daniel. Not in the real world, not here." The words tore into him deeper than any weapon. Anna shouted, "It's not him, it's the system." But Daniel faltered, his knees buckling as betrayal replayed in the shape of someone he once trusted. The false James whispered, "I'll finish what the world started, breaking you." Daniel collapsed to his knees, his avatar glitching violently, fragments peeling like ash. James' false avatar loomed, whispering poison. "You'll always be nothing." Daniel's breath hitched, shame suffocating him. Anna crouched, her voice urgent. "Daniel, look at me. This isn't who you are." Michael shouted, stepping forward. "Fight it, he's not real." But Daniel's vision was filled with James' cruel smile, replayed in endless loops. He shouted, "Why won't you leave me alone?" The laughter grew, spreading across the masked crowd, their voices blending into a storm. Anna pressed her forehead to his, whispering fiercely, "You are more than this." For a flicker, Daniel's chest steadied, her warmth piercing the noise. James sneered, his maskless face twisting. "She can't save you. No one can." Daniel's eyes lifted, fury mingling with despair. His voice broke. "Then I'll burn this world before it takes me." The storm of laughter shattered into silence as the false James froze mid-sneer, his face glitching like broken glass. Daniel staggered, gasping for breath, his body trembling. Anna said, "It stopped." Her words trailed as the plaza lights dimmed, plunging them into a void like black. Michael whispered, "This is the crack." From the dark, a second Daniel stepped forward, identical, but with colder eyes and a cruel smile. The duplicate said, "You've hid me long enough." Daniel's pulse spiked, his voice trembling. "You're not real." The copy's tone dripped venom. "I'm more real than you. I'm the part you bury, the part that hates." Anna's voice cracked. "Daniel, don't listen." Michael stepped forward, but the duplicate raised a hand, freezing him in place with strands of red code. Daniel's breath hitched. "What are you?" The double leaned close. "I'm you, the side that wants this world to burn." The duplicate circled Daniel like a predator, eyes gleaming with malice. "You built me every time you lied, every time you hid, every time you let them mock you." Daniel's voice broke. "I didn't want this," the double snarled. "But I did. I wanted power. I wanted revenge." Anna tried to step between them, but a wall of static split the ground, forcing her back. Michael strained against the code holding him, shouting, "Daniel, it's a parasite." The double laughed, cruel and sharp. "No, I'm liberation. You want to break them all. I already know you do." Daniel shook his head violently. "You're not me." The duplicate leaned closer, smirking. "Then why do I sound like your truth?" The neon skyline cracked, revealing rivers of red code pouring down, wrapping the duplicate like armor. Anna screamed, "It's feeding on you." Daniel's duplicate raised his hand, and the masked avatars bowed in unison, their glowing faces turning toward him. He grinned. They know their true master now. Daniel's chest heaved, rage boiling beneath fear. "You're twisting everything." The duplicate smirked. "Am I? Or did you always want them to kneel?" Anna shouted, "Don't believe him, that's not you." The double's gaze pierced Daniel. "She doesn't know what you dream at night, but I do. I remember every thought of vengeance." Michael strained, voice fierce. "Fight it, Daniel. It's a lie." The skyline behind them collapsed, shards of neon falling like broken glass. Daniel stepped forward despite trembling legs. "You don't control me," he whispered. The duplicate's cruel smile widened. "Then prove it. Break me. Or become me." The silence was suffocating, every shadow leaning closer, waiting for Daniel's choice. The duplicate's voice thundered across the city, echoed by the avatars. "He cannot save you. He is weak. I am what remains when weakness dies." Daniel's knees trembled, but Anna's voice cut through, trembling yet fierce. "Daniel, listen to me. He's not your truth. You are." Michael roared, forcing red strands to snap. "Not!" "You're not alone." The duplicate's smile faltered briefly, then twisted darker. He lunged at Daniel, their armor clashing with sparks of red and black static. Daniel cried out, pushing back with raw desperation. "I won't let you steal me." The ground shattered beneath them, plunging all four into a collapsing void where neon shards floated like stars. Daniel's double hissed, "This is the real world now. No safety, no mask, no escape." Daniel's breath caught as his reflection sneered back. "I'll tear you apart." Daniel and his duplicate stood locked in combat as the void swirled around them. Sparks of neon and code tore at their bodies with every strike. Daniel's teeth clenched as the double whispered, "The truth is, you like this, you like the fight." Daniel roared, shoving him back. "No, I like being alive." Anna screamed from the edge, her voice echoing. "Daniel, don't give him your rage." Michael leapt to her side, gripping her arm to stop her from falling. The duplicate snarled, eyes glowing red. "She'll abandon you. They all will, but I'll never leave. I am you." Daniel staggered, breath ragged. His hand shook as he raised it, torn between striking and surrendering. The void's silence grew suffocating until only one truth remained. To defeat him meant destroying the part of himself he feared most. Daniel whispered, "Then I'll end us both." The void swirled like a storm, shards of neon spiraling around them. Daniel's duplicate laughed, retreating into the abyss, his voice echoing, "You'll never silence me." Daniel collapsed to one knee, his chest heaving. Anna rushed to him, hands trembling as she touched his shoulder. "You're still you," she whispered, fear fighting against hope. Michael's eyes darted between them, his jaw tense. Daniel looked up, exhausted. "I can't fight myself in this world," Michael said. "Then you need strength from those beside you." His voice was steady, but a shadow lingered in his gaze. Anna said firmly, "You have us." Daniel tried to believe her, but the silence of the void pressed in, heavy and unkind. The masked avatars reappeared, kneeling now, not to Daniel, but to Michael. His figure glowed faintly, the code wrapping around him like a crown. Daniel froze, whispering, "Why, them?" Daniel's pulse quickened as the masked avatars bowed lower, their glowing masks flashing with Michael's name. Anna turned sharply, eyes wide. "Michael, what's happening?" His face twisted, shame warring with hunger. "I didn't ask for this." Daniel rose shakily, voice ragged. "But you wanted it." Michael stepped back, his hand trembling as streams of code wrapped tighter around his armor. "I wanted to matter. For once, to be seen." Daniel's chest clenched. "You said you were helping us." Michael's eyes darkened. "I was, until I realized. The system listens to me now." Anna shouted, "You can fight it!" But Michael shook his head slowly. "Why fight what finally makes me more than nothing?" The masked avatars echoed his words, their chant hollow and cruel. Daniel's breath caught as betrayal sank into his bones. He whispered, "You were the one thing I trusted." The silence broke with Michael's laughter. Soft at first, then sharp as glass. "Do you know what it feels like, Daniel? Always being the shadow beside you, never the light?" Daniel's eyes widened. "This isn't you," Michael sneered. "It's always been me. The code just gave me a voice." Anna cried, "Michael, stop this!" But he turned to her, his eyes glowing faintly red. "You'd never choose me over him, not when he's the broken hero." Daniel stepped forward, fury trembling in his hands. "If this is what you want, then you'll have to take me down." Michael smirked, raising his arms as the masked avatars shifted into monstrous shapes, their bodies stretching into weapons. "No, Daniel, you'll be the one falling, and they'll watch as your best friend becomes your executioner." Daniel's chest tightened. The crowd's smiles widened. The monstrous avatars surged forward, circling Daniel like predators. Anna shouted, "Run!" But Daniel stood firm, his eyes locked on Michael. "No, not from him." Michael's voice boomed, amplified by the system. "You always pitied me, Daniel," every glance, every word dripping with pity. "I hated it." Daniel's heart twisted. "I never pitied you." Michael's grin was sharp, cruel. "Then why did you always lead, while I followed?" Anna lunged, striking one of the creatures with a burst of silver light. Sparks flew, but the avatar reformed, stronger. Michael sneered. "You can't kill what belongs to me." Daniel shouted, "You were my friend." His voice cracked, raw with grief. Michael's gaze was cold, his hand raised high. "I was your shadow, and now I'll be the one to erase you." The crowd's laughter roared, drowning every heartbeat. The circle tightened, avatars pressing closer, chanting Michael's name. Daniel's chest heaved, sweat soaking his real skin outside the headset. He screamed, "Michael, Don't do this. Michael's eyes burned with sorrow and fury. I was invisible, Daniel, but now they see me. Anna fought at Daniel's side, her silver light flickering weaker with every strike. We can still stop this, she begged. Michael shook his head. No, this is my ascension. Daniel staggered, blood in his voice. Then kill me. But know this, when you look at their faces, you'll see mine in every shadow. Michael's expression faltered, but only for a second. Then he whispered, Goodbye, Daniel. The avatars lunged, claws of neon light tearing into the space around him. Anna screamed his name, her cry piercing the storm of betrayal as Daniel braced for the strike of his once trusted friend. The avatars lunged, claws slicing neon through the void. Daniel roared, his voice breaking into static, and swung his arm, shards of light bursting outward. The creatures shattered, but reformed instantly, circling tighter. Anna fought beside him, her silver light dimming with exhaustion. She cried, Daniel, we can't hold them forever. Michael watched from above, his armor pulsing red, the system amplifying his presence. He smirked coldly. Look at you, fighting a war you've already lost. Daniel snarled. Then I'll lose screaming. Sparks of fury lit his eyes, but his body trembled under the crushing weight of humiliation and betrayal. The masked crowd chanted Michael's name, their voices thunderous. Anna gripped Daniel's arm. Don't let them break you. Daniel's gaze locked on Michael, every wound burning in his chest. He whispered, You were my friend. Now, you're my executioner. Michael lifted his hand, commanding the storm forward. The clash shook the void, fragments of code raining like meteors. Daniel shouted, I won't let you erase me. Michael's eyes gleamed. I don't need to erase you. You'll erase yourself. His words twisted like knives, echoing across the avatars. Anna tried to shield Daniel with her silver light, but it flickered, collapsing under the strain. She gasped, I can't hold it. Michael sneered. She'll fall before you do, Daniel. You'll watch her shatter. Rage surged through Daniel's veins, drowning fear. He roared, surging forward, every fragment of his body glowing with defiance. Michael raised his hand, summoning a torrent of avatars, their claws stretching into spears. Daniel met them head-on, his roar cutting through their shrieks. For the first time, the crowd's laughter faltered, replaced by silence. Daniel's voice cracked with fury. If this is my end, then I'll take you with me. The storm surged, avatars striking from every direction. Daniel fought wildly, his fists glowing with broken light, tearing through wave after wave. His body flickered, pixels ripping from his skin. Anna screamed, Daniel, you're breaking apart. He shouted, so let me break with purpose. Michael's voice boomed, drunk on power. You were never strong enough. You never will be. Daniel slammed his hands into the void's floor, neon cracks racing outward, detonating the avatars in a blast of fractured code. The explosion knocked Anna back, her silver light sputtering, but her eyes burned with pride. Michael snarled, his smirk gone. You dare defy me? Daniel staggered, coughing, his body fractured, but his glare unyielding. I dare to stand. The silence that followed was electric, the void itself trembling. Michael's fury ignited, his red veins pulsing brighter. Then I'll end you myself. Michael descended from above, red lightning coiling around his body. Daniel braced, teeth clenched, his broken armor sparking. Michael hissed, You were always weak. I carried your shadow. Now I'll bury it. Daniel lunged, colliding with him, their strikes shaking the void. Sparks and shards spiraled outward, blinding light crashing with each impact. Anna crawled to her knees, voice ragged. Daniel, don't lose yourself. Daniel growled, his fist clashing with Michael's blade of red code. He shouted, I was never meant to be perfect, but I was never nothing. Michael roared, shoving him back, his eyes blazing. Then you'll die proving it. The void cracked beneath them, endless code rushing like a river of fire. Daniel's arms trembled, but he pushed back harder. Their faces inches apart, fury and grief collided. Daniel whispered, "Then come with me into the dark." The battle reached its peak, light and shadow consuming the void. Daniel screamed, unleashing every fragment of pain, betrayal, and fury into his strike. Michael's blade shattered, shards of red code raining like blood. Michael staggered, eyes wide with disbelief. You can't." Daniel stood, trembling, pieces of his avatar peeling away like ash. "I can, because I am more than what you made me." Anna collapsed beside him, her silver light flickering like a dying flame. She whispered, "Daniel, you're still here." Michael snarled, red veins bursting across his body. "If I fall, then I'll take you with me." He lunged one last time, body burning with raw code. Daniel braced, his voice steady for the first time. Then, this ends together. The collision exploded in a blinding flash, tearing the void apart, leaving nothing but silence and shattered neon drifting in the dark. The void drifted in silence after the blast, shards of neon suspended like broken stars. Daniel collapsed, his armor fractured, his breath shallow. Anna crawled to him, her silver light almost gone. She whispered, "You're alive." Somehow. Daniel's eyes opened faintly, pain flooding every word. "Michael." His gaze turned to where his former friend lay, body cracked with red code, flickering between human and glitch. Michael coughed, his smirk gone, sorrow glinting through his eyes. "You weren't supposed to win." Daniel whispered, "I didn't win. We both lost." Anna's hand pressed to his chest, her voice trembling. "No, Daniel. You're still here. That's everything." Michael groaned, his form collapsing further into static. He rasped, "Then let me fade." His final words drifted into silence, leaving only the echo of what had been trust shattered. Daniel closed his eyes, tears hidden in the glow. The masked avatars flickered, their chants silenced, their faces blank again. Anna said, "It's over." But the silence felt wrong, too heavy. Daniel forced himself upright, his voice raw. "The system isn't gone. It's only waiting." The void's edges pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat under fractured glass. Anna's eyes widened. "It's alive." Daniel nodded slowly, grief weighing every word. It was never just code. It was always watching, feeding. Michael's static form vanished completely, swallowed by the void without sound. Anna clung to Daniel, fear trembling in her voice. "Then what now?" Daniel looked toward the horizon, where red threads still writhed like veins. "Now we endure." His face hardened, scarred by betrayal, by battle, by truth. The silence deepened, but behind it lay the faintest hum. The sound of something vast, waiting for its next move. Anna helped Daniel to his feet, his body unsteady but unbroken. She whispered, "You can't carry this alone." Daniel's voice cracked. "I already do." They stumbled together across the fractured void, shards crunching beneath their steps like broken glass. Behind them, the empty crowd of avatars faded into mist, leaving nothing but silence. Daniel muttered, "They'll come again, maybe stronger, maybe worse." Anna's eyes glistened. "Then we'll fight again." He turned to her, pain in his gaze. "You don't have to." She smiled faintly, exhaustion etched in her face. "I choose to." The words steadied him, even as grief burned inside his chest. For every betrayal, for every scar, Anna's choice stood like a fragile shield. The void pulsed once more, a reminder that the metaverse was alive, and it was not finished with them. The horizon fractured again, a jagged line splitting the void. From it came whispers, not voices of people, but the system itself, its words etched across the air. Another one logged out. Daniel froze, his chest tightening. "It's counting us," he whispered. Anna's face paled. "Then it knows everything." Daniel's fists clenched despite his wounds. "Then it knows what I'll do next." His voice trembled with fury and resolve. Anna reached for him, her hand steady despite fear. "Don't let it consume you, Daniel." He turned toward her, sorrow softening his glare. "If it takes me, remember me as more than the fracture." Her eyes brimmed with tears. "You're not the fracture. You're what survived it." The whispers faded, leaving silence so heavy it pressed against their chests. The void shivered, preparing its next scar. The void collapsed slowly into silence, shards dissolving into nothing. Daniel's gaze lingered on where Michael had stood, betrayal carved forever into his soul. Anna whispered, "We're still here." Daniel's lips parted, voice trembling with finality. "For now." He removed his gaze from the void and looked at Anna, his eyes broken yet fierce. "But the fracture doesn't heal. It waits." A faint hum echoed again, louder this time, pulsing inside his skull. The system's last word seared across his vision. "You were never meant to leave." His breath caught, chest tightening. Anna gripped his hand, whispering, "Then we don't leave. We fight." Daniel's voice fell to a whisper, chilling in its calm. "No. We become the fight." The void vanished, leaving only silence. Outside, a headset lay glowing on an empty chair, its screen whispering faint static into the dark.